Welcome, I'm Nigel Smallbone. I've been helping Hospice in the Weald with Cottage Hospice, and I'm here to talk about the Informed Guide with Rob Woolley, Chief Executive of Hospice in the Weald, and Holly Cowan, Head of Cottage Hospice. Welcome both. Holly, if I can start with you. We've talked about Cottage Hospice and how the Informed Guide is part of the support offered to family caregivers, but can you tell us more about what the guide is?
Yep, so the Informed Guide's full title is Informed, the Family Caregiver's Guide to the Final Days of Life. And it's some pick up, put down materials which the family caregivers can utilise throughout their time at the cottage hospice to enable them to care for their loved one.
I've heard you describe the guide as pick up and put down. Rob, maybe you could explain more about pick up and put down?
Yeah, it's not a training course, and we think that family caregivers will want to learn in different ways. So it's not something that you have to start at the beginning and read all the way through. And also it's a suite of materials, so there's films and clips and hard copy booklets and all kinds of different ways to see it.
And who's it for, primarily? Holly?
The guide primarily is for the family caregivers to enable them, to empower them to be able to give the care to their loved one whilst they're in the cottage hospice. Okay. It comprises of different elements, for example, practical things such as providing mouth care for their loved one or helping them onto the toilet, but it also looks at how they can look after themselves as well.
What do you hope that people will get out of it?
I hope that it will give them lots of reassurance and empowerment to be able to give the care to their loved one as best they possibly can.
How do patients and family caregivers get access to the videos and the booklet?
So copies can be provided for patients and family caregivers before they arrive at the cottage hospice. They can access them through our website. They can be downloaded into a format that suits them, perhaps onto a USB stick or a CD. And then there's also the visual aids as well, which people can pick up and put down as they see fit.
And why have you done a section for family caregivers about looking after themselves too?
I think it's really important for the family caregivers to recognise that they must look after themselves to enable them to give the best possible care to their loved one.
Can you give us a flavour of what's in the section about looking after your loved one?
Yep, so it will contain different practical elements such as providing mouth care or helping somebody out onto the toilet, perhaps recognising the signs and symptoms of deterioration throughout the final days of life.
Rob, if I can ask you this, how do you suggest patients and family caregivers use the guide?
Yeah, I think people learn in different ways, which is why we've produced it as a suite of pick up and put down materials. I can see that some people want to watch all of the videos, and I can see that some people want to read all of the documents, but also you can dip in and out of it. So I think it's reasonable to do that, really. But I think it's good if they do watch them together to start with, the patients and the family caregivers. But then family caregivers can use them however they want to use them all the way through the process, and they'll be able to use them again supported by the trained volunteers and the nursing staff once they're in cottage hospice.
So as we close, is there anything else either of you would like to say about the Informed Guide?
I think it's just a really good tool to help family caregivers feel empowered to provide the care for their loved one, but knowing that there's other support around them as well in the form of trained volunteers and nursing staff.
Yeah, Hospice in the Weald has been around for 40 years, and I don't think we could have done cottage hospice or this Informed Guide if we hadn't got the experience. So it is the doctors and the nurses that have actually pulled together which topics should be in there and what the words and the films are that are in the Informed Guide. We know it's what's needed and we know it's what's wanted, but we need to reassure family caregivers that they can do it. Nobody knows their loved ones as well as they do. And so reassurance for sure and information to enable them to do it.
Thank you both very much.